2006 Dodge Charger, 5.7 engine in it. Car was failing to charge. We already diagnosed it, and I'm just gonna go over what my finding was. Hopefully it'll help someone else out there who's trying to figure out their car and their charging system. Be very careful when you guys buy a aftermarket part. That'll absolutely throw you off, and it's a night. This car's been a nightmare. The car's been here for 2 weeks and trying to figure out what's going on with it. Partially we were waiting for a new PCM to arrive as well too. In any case, so let's go ahead with the video. So customer complaint was the battery wasn't charging. They put new battery in it. Battery didn't fix it, so he went ahead, he bought the alternator from AutoZone, I believe. He put the new alternator in. As soon as he put the alternator in, he said he saw smoke coming out of the hood area, and he turned the car off. Car was brought to us here. So we looked at it, we went under the car, and sure enough we found a blown fusible link. Let's see if I can, let me grab my light real quick. All right, you can see that fusible link is blowing. So we put a 50 amp fusible link. Right now we have to fix it. Actually, we call dealer doesn't make this part anymore, so we have to find it in the eBay, or I'm not sure where we're gonna get this, but we'll definitely fix it. But for the video purposes, this is why I put the fusible link in. So right now car is fixed. Again, we'll fix it once we have the right part, but for right now car is fixed, and for diagnosis purposes and video purposes, I put the fusible link in. So once we put this fusible link in, we started the car and we measured the voltage. PCM was telling alternator stay in full field command because for whatever reason. So the battery voltage was, or alternator was putting out 23 volts. Sure enough, it blew our fusible link. So that's the second fusible link right there. We checked the fusible link was blowing. We put another one in, and then we went ahead, tested two of the wires that goes back in the alternators, the logic connector. See where the two red caps at. I don't know if you can see it or not. Where my testing tool is there too. So let's go to wiring diagram. It will be more clear. All right, so here's a 2006 Dodge Charger's wiring diagram for a charging system. So that little connector I was showing you earlier, one pin goes to the ground, one pin goes to PCM. PCM commands it. It sends it's a pull-ups command. So PCM provides the power to this wire, and alternator goes to full field. So the thing was happening was alternator was stuck in full field command. So I load tested my ground wire. It was good with that test light. I ohmed out this wire as well, along with I load tested this wire. Was fine. Checked the voltage over here, and it was sending out 12 volt, telling alternator to charge. But alternator keeps putting, it was PCM was not in control of charging this alternator. That's why it was stuck in full field. So we checked the wires over again, like what is going on with it, why is it not working? So we condemned, okay, could be two things, either the alternator or the PCM. So we went ahead and we got another alternator. We returned the other one, and we got alternator from our parts vendor. Put the alternator in, sure enough, same exact thing, nothing changed. So we tested the wire again. We retraced our steps again, same thing. Nothing conclusive came out. So you're like, okay, maybe just PCM is not in control of it. Order the PCM. Got the PCM in, installed the PCM. Guess what? Same exact thing. Nothing was fixed. So we retrace our step. what is going on with this car? What is going on? What are we missing? So one thing we left with, we had to think outside the box. What if wherever this alternator is manufactured from, they probably flip the pins around? Instead of power pin, it's going directly to ground, and when alternator commands it, sure enough, this goes to full field mode and stays in full field mode, and alternator keeps overcharging the car. So after putting PCM, new alternator, we're like, okay, let's switch the pins around. That's the only thing we can think of. When we switch the pins around, sure enough, car went back to the charging system, started working as designed. So just to have a reference, I'm gonna scope out the signal wire and with the test light and show you guys what to look for in case someone's running into issue before putting new PCM in or alternator, and see if we have the commands going. So let me set up my stuff and I'll show you guys. All right, here we go. So this wire right there, this is on the PCM wire side of it, and the other one is ground, so we're not doing anything with the ground. We're focusing on the command wire. So this is my scope lead. One's going here, and the other one, let's hook up to a chassis ground. This is a good ground. I already tested it, so I'm just doing it for the video purposes. So let's command it with the scope, with the scanner first, and then we'll go with the scope. So let me get my scope going and test light. Okay, so to do scanner test, key has to be on, not running, otherwise you'll get the negative response. This part of the video is for the people who are professionally doing this for a living. If you're a do-yourselfer, your scanner may not work, so just making a disclaimer here. Our battery voltage is still good, 1244. Like I said, we already diagnosed it and fixed it, so I'm just making a video for the purpose of helping someone who's may run into an issue like that, or probably running into it right now. So 1244, which is a good good battery voltage. So as I showed you my connection on the alternator, one's going to the PCM side of it, and the other lead was going on the negative on the chassis. So I have battery ground, right? I have a test light on the ground, chassis ground, and this yellow wire is going to be on my command. So my test light is there. Okay, so under here, let me back out of this so I can show you guys how to access this. Okay, so we go under engine, and we go under functional tests, alternator field duty cycle. So we have two options, 25% or 50%. Let's do 25 first. So once you turn it on, look at that, my test light goes on. So let's turn it off. It's off. So PCM is commanding it. Now let's do 50%. Oh, there you go. 50% is doing the same thing. So it is commanding it. So let's go in the scope. I'll show you what the command looks like. For that, car has to be running. So let me start the car and set up my scope. All right, so car is running, as you can hear. So we go on the scope. This is what the commands look like. So let me go back out of it and I'll show you. So you go under lab scope and then you go volts DC. I guess you can go on 4-channel scope as well too. So let's try that actually. Yep. Let me change my time base and voltage base. My voltage. So let's do 50 millisecond. There you go. Let me back out of this and let's change our voltage. Oh, let's turn this channel 2 off and let's do 20 volt. Come on, there you go. So that's what the commands look like. This varies if alternator is If the battery voltage is low, this frequency is gonna change. If the battery voltage is where it's supposed to be, this is what's gonna look like. Right now it's charging at 13.8 volt, 13.9. So when before putting new PCM in, we did test that as well actually, and we were not getting any command. We were just getting solid 12 volt. Like I said, the pins were switched around. So as soon as we put the pins the way where it's supposed to be, car started to work in the way it's supposed to. So I'm not sure if aftermarket alternators are designed that way. So be very careful when you run out of all your options before putting PCM in. You may want to think where the part came from. You know, it's very hard actually. So unfortunately we had to put the PCM in, and this car's getting a new PCM and we may have to eat it. We don't know yet, so or have customer anyways, so we'll deal with that, but I hope that helps.